Less than 1 month away from the start of the 2025 NFL Draft, the tight end position still remains a significant position of need for the New York Jets. We'll be doing a film breakdown today on NY Flight Jets Talk to reveal who are some of the top tight ends the New York Jets could covet behind Penn State's Tyler Warren. A lot to get into, and we'll cover the latest news surrounding the New York Jets and much more, all coming up here on a Friday edition of NY Flight Jets Talk.
Jets, Jets, let's go.
Jets wide receiver Wesley Walker. Wesley, how you doing today? ESPN writer Mr. Rich Cimini, Jets reporter for The Athletic, Mr. Zach Rosenblatt, Hall of Famer and Jets legend Mr. Marty Lyons.
Your host, Connor Law.
What is going on, everyone? Hello, and welcome back here to another edition of NY Flight Jets Talk. We're here on this Friday, March 28, 2025. I appreciate you all tuning in. Make sure you smash that like button. And you are subscribed to the channel. It's completely free. And it really does help us grow significantly here on NY Flight Jets Talk. It's the paid way to help us grow. That's the free way, to help us grow. The paid way helps us grow just as much, and it's much appreciated if you guys are able to pay to support the show. And you get an opportunity to win some cool prizes by paying to help support the show. You get into our membership raffle. Every membership gifted, every $2.99 super chat will get you a ticket into our membership raffle. We have this is our last show. Tomorrow's our last show. Where you can get in. So 2 more shows now to get into our membership raffle. The prizes we're giving away this month do include a Wayne Corbett signed jersey, an Adorel Rivas signed photo, Altoon signed photo, Keyshawn Johnson signed photo, Jericho Cotchery signed photo, a free item from our merch store, and a channel emoji. So please make sure to get in on that if you haven't already. That's the free way, and if you can support the show through that way, it is really, really great. But the free way that everyone can do is just smashing the like button and hitting subscribe, and that does just as much for the channel. So smash the like, hit subscribe, guys. Please, please, please. Completely free, and it helps us grow significantly. I appreciate you tuning in, everyone here on NY Flight Jets Talk. If you have any questions for me, you could throw them in the chat. If you want to call into the show, get up on here on air and talk the talk. You could call into the show by using the pinned comment at the top of the chat. Hey, let's just get into the main point of today's video. I kind of want to get into some of the tight ends in this year's draft, right? Because we're talking about Armand Membou at pick 7. We're talking about Ted McMillan at pick 7. We're talking about all these different guys the Jets could potentially take with the 7th overall pick. And Jimmy, I see your comment. I did update your leaderboard with the memberships yesterday. You're up to 12 raffle entries. I did count that up yesterday. So I appreciate you letting me know. Yes, you're up to 12 raffle entries on the month. I appreciate it as always. Here's where I am right now on the state of the Jets. This team needs a tight end. Whether it's going to be in the first round with Tyler Warren, that's the consensus favorite right now. Tyler Warren seems to be the consensus option Tyler Warren seems to be consensus option for the Jets. A lot of people are talking about, Armand Membou. I think Tyler Warren is going to be the pick for the Jets with the 7th overall pick. Let's say the Jets decide to pass up on Tyler Warren. They don't take him. Maybe they do go an Armand Membou route, a Tedaroya McMillan route. I would be open to either direction. I like Tyler Warren, but same time, I wouldn't hate the Armand Membou pick. Not my number one choice. You guys all know that Ted McMillan's my number one option for the Jets right now with the 7th overall pick. Let's say the Jets pass up on Warren, or they simply want to double dip at the tight end position. I want to get into some of the later round options I think could be a really, really solid fit for the Jets. There's 2 guys in particular who I pulled a lot of tape on, and I'm going to get into these guys right now. We're going to start with Harold Fadden Jr. from Bowling Green. We're going to pull up some of his clips right away, but this is what I have to say about Harold Fadden Jr. Someone who I know he's going to get a lot of hate for attending Bowling Green. There's not a lot of competition. Well, he put up over 100. Over 100 yards and a few touchdowns against Penn State. So boom, we'll go there. Someone who's 6'3", 230 pounds, has the potential to develop into a blocker at the next level, but he's a receiver, pretty much a pure pass catcher who can line up in line, in the slot, out wide. So much versatility with a guy like Fadden Jr. Great route runner. Great speed overall. So I want to show you guys right here some tape I have on Harold Fadden Jr. This is someone who's still on the younger side, 21. He's going to be 22 years old in a few months. I'm really, really, really high on Harold Fadden Jr. So I think if the Jets could go ahead and snag a guy like Fadden Jr. in one of the later rounds, even rounds 3 or 4, that's what I'd be open to. Rounds 3 or 4, that's where I get Fadden. Here's the thing. He's not an awful blocker, but at 6'3", 230 pounds, you're not going to be the greatest blocker in the world just by nature. So he isn't the best blocker in the world, but he doesn't get run over in the run game. He doesn't whiff on blocks. He's not afraid to block. So there's a lot to like in Fannin Jr. I'm going to start with this clip here. Let me get this up on the screen for Fannin. Boom, here it is. So you guys should be able to see this clip of Harold Fannin Jr. on your screen. You should be able to, boom, see my mouse now. He's lined up in line. We'll roll the clip, and then let me put a full screen first. We'll roll that clip, and then we will go over it together. Look at this clip here. Harold Fannin Jr., Bowling Green, Yellow Arrow lined up in line against Penn State. Now let's go back and review it. Harold Fannin Jr., I spoke about his route running ability. I spoke about his ability as a pass catcher. His yak ability is also something to really, really like. Ranked first among tight ends last year in yards after the catch with 750. This is one of the plays where we see him lined up in line, kind of in that three-point stance right next to the offensive line. Boom. Kind of runs somewhat of a whip route, gets the ball quickly, and then look at his ability to just weave through traffic, find the hole, get himself in space, and pick up all those yards after the catch. Even if you go back to like right here, for example, that safety crashing down, boom, he could have tackled him right away, but put somewhat of a hesitation move, able to cut even more to the outside and pick up another 5-7 yards. I know a lot of people are going to focus on the overall big picture of, wow, that was a 20-yard gain. But even just the little things as well that he showed there, just to even get the extra 5 to 7 yards after putting a hesitation move on a defender. I think there's a lot to like in Fannin, and I think that shows you his skill set pretty much when he's lined up in line. That's the first clip I wanted to show overall on Fannin Jr. because that's a lot of many, but Fannin Jr. overall, this is the guy you're going to need to, if you're going to draft Fannin, you don't want to rely on him flat out as a pure blocker. Like, something I've been open to if you don't take Warren at 7, something I've talked about for a long time, is if you get Harold Fannin Jr. in the 3rd, and then you got to get a guy like Jackson Hawes from Georgia Tech in the 6th round, who's pretty much just your pure blocker. That's a route I'd be open to taking. I wouldn't hate that by any means. I want to come away from this draft personally with 2 tight ends. I think this team does need 2 tight ends. I'm not comfortable rolling into the season with Stone Smart, Jeremy Ruckert, and a rookie. I just think that's preparing to fail, but hey. We're going to see what Darren Mougie's draft strategy is very, very quickly. That was play number 1 for Harold Fannin Jr. Now let's get into the second one. Here, again, like I said earlier, you can plug and play with him all over the field. Right here, yellow line, he's lined up in the slot. Roll the clip. Again, even just the little things, if you go back and rewatch it here, he's lined up in the slot, and look at the yards after the catch he's able to pick off. Boom, cuts inside, gets the ball quickly, great body control, doesn't spaz out, doesn't get out of control. Boom, like that, sheds the tackle, and then again, it's just those little things to pick up the extra 8 to 10 yards that I really, really like from Fannin. His production overall after the catch is impressive. His hands are great. He doesn't struggle with many drops, doesn't have any concentration drops whatsoever. This is a guy who's a big receiver who could provide help as a blocker. Like, I don't see why many people want to pass up on him in the right place. That means the 3rd or 4th round. He provides you value as a pass catcher. This team is in need of pass catchers in general. And he's also an extra blocker for you. I don't get how one could watch Harold Fannin Jr. and say, nah, I'd pass up on him in the 3rd round. His overall production at Bowling Green is hard to look at and pass up on. Here's the thing, though. I've seen numbers. For example, that's why I like, you guys know me, I'm a big numbers guy, but I like, when it comes to scouting prospects, I like watching tape and looking at numbers. Because there's numbers I've looked at. I'm like, oh my God, this player is going to be insane. Then I watch him, they're not too impressive. Or the numbers don't really look that great. And then I watch them and I come away highly impressed with the player's skill set overall. That's why I like the balance overall. So that's the second play of Fannin. Let's go into the 3rd one. This is one of my favorites I saw after watching him. Again, comes from the Penn State game. I pulled a lot of clips for you guys intentionally from the Penn State game because if I pulled it against these no-name schools, a lot of people would have thought, well, let's see what he could do against legit competition. So, boom, I'll play another clip again against Penn State. Lined up, in line, in his 3-point stance. Just look at this burst right out of his stance. Let's go back and rewatch. Pop, ball gets snapped. Look at that burst. First step, Boom. He's off downfield. Look at that burst. Gets to a spot, turns around, looks for the ball in the perfect timing. There you go. The fact that someone is able to get out of their stance that quickly, like Tyler Conklin, for example. I love Tyler Conklin. I thought he did great things for this team as a tight end, without a doubt. Did we ever see Tyler Conklin get out of his stance this quickly? Did we ever see Jeremy Ruckert get out of his inline stance this quickly, get downfield, and as the quarterback put the ball through a tight window, him hold on to it through multiple defenders? No. Harold Fan is a really, really solid tight end. That's not a play you see your average third-round tight end making. The main thing I will say, I know I've talked about it a lot, the versatility is something I really, really like. He's not someone who could only play in line, someone who's not only a pass catcher. You can plug and play with him across the whole football field, and I think that's a really, really valuable aspect. NFL tight ends who can just block don't get paid much in the league, and that's for a reason. NFL tight ends who could catch passes pay more because they play more like a receiver. Hence Fannin. You get a mix of both. You get that compact frame at 6'3", 230 pounds. He can catch passes, and he can develop into a blocker. Do I want him being that, this big blocker for you? No. You don't draft Harold Fannin to be a blocker. You draft him to be a pass catcher in the hopes he can also develop into a blocker. Again, I don't know how one could watch Fannin and say this is not a really, really solid football player. Next play. Pull this up here quickly. Next play, he's lined up. Lined up outside. Look at this. Look at all the yak here from Fannin. Boom. One of the Jets, they've tried this play with Tyler Conklin a couple times. When's the last time the Jets have been able to execute a tight end screen to this pedigree with someone who just takes off right away? That's never happened with this team. Look at this, boom. Lines up in the slot, snap to the quarterback, boom, turns around right away, catches the ball, and look at the defenders collapsing on him. 1, 2, 3, and then the fourth one right here is going to come downhill right away. Boom. Not to mention the fit that this could be for the Jets. The Jets have a quarterback in Justin Fields who's a mobile quarterback, and maybe you want to run somewhat of a dink and dunk style offense when he's passing the ball. You don't want to rely on Justin Fields to push the ball all the way downfield for you. This is a play that you can run and you can execute with Justin Fields. This is not some crazy play. You can run and execute this with Justin Fields. So it also fits the Jets style offense too, which is also something really important to note. It's a great football play, and this is also something he could help execute with the Jets. So that's also something to keep in mind here when you're watching him. His ability to make a quarterback look a lot better than they are overall. He's getting a few of those a game, and that's padding the quarterback stat sheet. He's making the quarterback look better. He's providing that safety net. Exactly. I love Tyler Warren. Tyler Warren's a great player. Tyler Warren's my number 1 tight end in this year's class. Tyler Warren doesn't have the speed of Harold Fannin Jr. He doesn't have that burst. Tyler Warren's a great tight end. I'm sorry. Harold Fannin is better burst and better speed. Harold Fannin is a perfect safety net for Justin Fields. Perfect safety net. Someone he can get the ball to. Boom. Quick passes right away. You saw there. Gets the ball turned around. Quick screen. Then can dunk, and you can rely on him to pick you up 15 yards for you after the catch. Really, really solid play overall from Fannin. I'll play this next one here. I think we have. I think it's going to be our last one on Fannin. There's so many, but I only picked the select few. I picked them all from the Penn State game too. Not only was it a monster game, but huge competition as well. So that's something else I wanted to point out. Then I have a few clips on Gunnar Helm from Texas, and then I have a couple clips on Colston Loveland. And then I'm going to get to your questions. So guys, keep throwing all your questions in if you have them. We'll get to those. And you can call into the show with the pinned comment at the top of the chat. We'll go full screen here. This is a mix. You'll see. I don't want to spoil the play. Fannin in line, 3-point stance. Chip, pop, release, cuts across the field, catches the ball. I mean, I couldn't even cover everything there. Just look at this play overall. lines up in line for you. I mean, in all the many spots he can line up. He can line up in line. He can line up in the slot. He can line up wide. Look at that chip and release. Boom, chip. Cut right across the middle of the field. Catches that pass. Hesitation move, then deploys a stiff arm. Picks up 15, 20 more yards. Now that is one of many plays I could see the Jets running with Justin Fields. Fannon's not only a great football player, like I referenced earlier, but he also fits the skill set of a safety net, which a quarterback like Justin Fields needs. Justin Fields is not going to be able to fit a ball through, a picture-perfect tight window on for a tight end to go up and get contested catches. Justin Fields needs someone who you can run that screenplay with, someone you could dump it off to at the line of scrimmage, someone you could dump it off to 5 yards downfield on a chip and release, and you can rely on him to get you 10 to 20 yards after the catch. Fannon could do that. Tyler Warren can't. Tyler Warren's my tight end 1. Colston Loveland's my tight end 2. Fannon's my tight end 3. Loveland maybe, but Warren certainly cannot do that. Warren doesn't provide that exact skill set like a quarterback. Like Tyler Warren, I think if he comes to the Jets, a lot of his play is going to rely on, telling Justin Fields to put the ball up there for him to go get. Justin Fields is going to try to throw many interceptions trying to do that. Tyler Warren is not someone you can run a tight end screen with and rely on for yak. If you get the ball to Tyler Warren across the middle of the field, you can rely on him from yak, but not at the line of scrimmage. Also, Jeremy Ruckert, here's a fun fact. Jeremy Ruckert's entering his 4th year in the league. He has never broken one tackle. Never forced a missed tackle, never broke one tackle his entire career. Harold Fannin was first in forcing missed tackles last season at the college level. First in yak, first in yards, first in touchdowns, first in missed tackles, second or third in contested catches. What is there not to like? Especially in the value of third, 4th round pick. Explain to me right now what there is not to like about Fannin. Until you can find a viable reason for me, Harold Fannon's a top player for me. I have 3 clips here on Texas tight end Gunnar Helm I want to get into. Then I got a clip on Loveland. Here. And guys, like I said, if you have any questions, please throw them in the chat, and you can call into the show with the pinned comment at the top of the chat. I want you guys to, come on here, give your thoughts, or just throw your thoughts in the comment, and we'll even get to those. Let's play here from Gunnar Helm. Look at him lined up in line in his 3-point stance. We'll watch it first, and then we'll break it down. Helm, this is what I'll say first. Helm, let me move this down so you guys can see more of the play. Helm has a similar skill set to Fannin in the sense he's going to beat you with the yak, but he doesn't have the speed of Harold Fannin. Like, he's a solid route runner, a solid athlete, great ball skills, great hands too, but he doesn't have that, this is why Helm's just below me for Fannin. He doesn't have that burst, you know what I'm saying? He doesn't have that burst to get out of his stance quickly, pop, go right downfield. To be fair to Helm at the same time, though, Helm's 6'5", 250. That's a massive difference to 6'3", 230. Look at this play, though. This is another guy. Help be a safety net for Justin Fields. Similar to one of the plays we saw with Helm. Ewers drops back, play action. Helm, boom, chip and release, gets outside right there on the screen. Hauls it in with one hand. An awful throw by Ewers, but is able to haul it in. And his blockers helped him out, yes, but he was able to get downfield and make some plays. Those are the guys I'm looking for to be tight ends for my football team. Who are able to be safety nets. You're able to dump the ball off to. Someone you don't have to worry about Justin Fields trying to force the ball 30 yards downfield to, and him, either overthrowing it 9 out of 10 times or throwing it short. Those are guys I want. Next play here on Helm. Pull it up. He's lined up outside. In the slot, my bad. Pop. We'll watch the play, then we'll review it. Look at this. This was a play. Ewers was under distress in the pocket. Looks like he's just trying to throw it away. Look at this. Look at all these guys collapsing on Ewers. He steps up, which is great by Ewers, And it looks like, boom, I just don't want to get sacked. Let me roll out. Let me try to throw the ball away. Let me go back to that quickly. Like I said, I want a tight end who could be a safety net, but it's also great to have a tight end who could be a safety net and also catch passes like this. Look at Helm's ability. Look at where that ball's going. That's sailing out of bounds. That's on the trajectory of going out of bounds about 2 yards past Helm. Look at his ability to just go to work on that cornerback and come down with the ball. Be the big man who comes up and comes down with the ball. And I know you only need to get 1 foot in college, but he damn sure got 2 feet in there. A great play by Gunnar Helm. And again, the value here is overall, like, you can get your wide receiver 2 in the first round. That could be Tet McMillan. Let's say you get your wide receiver 1 in the first round in Tet McMillan. You can get your wide receiver. If you can get a legit wide receiver in the first round, it's worth the value. I would rather get my wide receiver 2 there, draft Fadden in the 3rd, draft Helm in the 5th. That's like a dream scenario for me. You get your wide receiver 2, and you get 2 legit tight ends who both bring different skill sets to the table. Helm could be your more developed blocker guy, but still provide value as a receiver. Fadden could be the guy you try to develop over time into a blocker. And this is something I really, really like. I'm going to keep this in mind. Jets tight end coach Jeff Blasco has a background of being an O-line coach. Something to keep in mind. And the Jets O-line coach, Steve Hayden, has a background of being a tight ends coach. Look out for those particular position groups to work with each other. When you're trying to develop a tight end into a solid blocker, we'll put him with Jeff Blasco, who's been an O-line coach for many, many years. That's something I really like. I'm really intrigued by that possibility, and I don't think enough people are talking about that. Certainly a situation to look out for. You want to develop someone into a blocker? Well, this might be a solid place to go. You have your tight ends coach has been an O-line coach for multiple years in this league. Certainly something to look out for. Last Helm clip before we play one clip of Loveland, and then we look into the bigger picture overall of this tight end class. Look at this. Lined up 3-point stance in line. What are they at the 4.5, 3 yard line? 3.5, 3 yard line, excuse me. Move this down there. Boom. Watch it, and then we'll go over it like we always do. This is a blocking play. I decided to choose because we did the pass plays. Look at the blocking. Look at Helm. We're going to try to put it in slow. The Jets need someone like Helm, a tight end, who is just going to be able to deny the outside, come in the middle, clog it up. Look at his ability to just clear the lane there. Clear the lane, and, to Texas's credit, everyone followed their blocking assignments, but his ability to clear the lane there ultimately leads to a touchdown. Look at him. Boom. Look at him in that circle. Knows the design play, great situational awareness, able to shove 3 all the way to the inside, and then open up the outside lane to score that touchdown. Those are 2 guys I want to be New York Jets. 2 guys, without a doubt, I would be on board with. Whether the Jets select one of them, whether the Jets select both of them. I love both those football players. Next up, someone who, Matt Miller, ladies and gentlemen of ESPN, who we had on the show, one of the best draft analysts in the business, he said this is the guy he would take with the number 7 overall pick. I have a lot of info on him, so I'm only going to take one clip. I know a lot of people are familiar with him, so I'm only going to take one clip instead of like Helm or Fadden, where I know not a lot of people are super, super familiar. But Colston Loveland from Michigan. See him? Number 18 right there. Wait, let me move that down there so you can see him run his route. Look at that. Colston Loveland is someone, if he's not coming off a shoulder injury, he might have been my tight end 1 in this year's class. 6'5", 245 pounds, is going to be 21 years old just before the NFL draft. Great athlete. Look at the catch radius is insane. Great route runner, great speed. There's not many people in the league who are 6'5" who could create this kind of separation. Look at that. Working on 20. Look at that burst. Cut right through the inside. Catches that pass. And is able to use somewhat of his yak ability to finish that and get it into the end zone. If the Jets go with a defensive player in the first round, whether that's Mason Graham or that's Kenneth Grant, wouldn't hate Loveland in the second. Wouldn't hate it. At 42, wouldn't hate that at all. However, I don't want to double up on offense, like especially pass catchers. It's one thing if you go Membu in the first and then you go Loveland. That's something I can live with. For example, I don't want to go Tet McMillan or Tyler Warren and then take Loveland in the next round. If you take Tyler Warren or Tet McMillan, I'd want to go with the Tyleik Williams type player in the second round. That's the route I'm leaning. So I appreciate you all tuning in. Smash the like, hit subscribe. Call into the show with the pinned comment at the top of the chat. Got any questions, throw them in. We'll get to those. Appreciate you guys sticking in here as always. We're going to stay on here a little longer, answer your questions, take your calls. So get your questions, comments, super chats, thoughts in. Pinned comment, call into the show. Let me know what you guys want to talk about here on the program. Our great Chris G. Building. Comes in, this is Garrett top 10. Keep Brees, draft Warren, point blank, period, JETS, Jets. Tet over Warren for me. I wouldn't take Mason Graham over. Warren's probably my number 2 option at pick 7 right now. He's not my number 1 option because he's someone who broke out his 5th collegiate season. Yes, he provides you value as a blocker, provides you value as a receiver. I like him. It's just, if you really want to use a 7th overall pick on a tight end who had 1 solid college season, that's the major question people are asking themselves right now. It's the major question people are asking themselves. So, Garrett, top 10. If you were on the Jake Asman show earlier today, you know what he's referring to. We got into a little Garrett Wilson debate. And that's just keep Brees. I mean, you guys know where I am on Brees. You guys all know where I am on Brees. Get a 3rd round pick for him? Pop. Out of town. Trade him. Would you guys be interested in doing a Brees Hall film review? I know we're in somewhat of a dead period. There's not too much new news to talk about. Would you guys be open to doing a Brees Hall film review? Because I have so many clips right now that show exactly why the Jets must move on from him. Let me know in the chat if you guys want to see a Brees Hall film review, and we'll try to get it done. Jeffrey R. is in the chat. Jeffrey, appreciate you as always. He's in first place in our membership raffle. You guys have 2 more shows, including today, to gift memberships. So you got rest of the day show and tomorrow's show to get into our membership raffle. Every $2.99 super chat. Every gifted membership, both those will give you each 1 raffle ticket. So Jeffrey, I can't thank you enough for all your support. And I don't think you've been in here, but the emoji's officially live. Your mood emoji that you were talking about like a few weeks ago is officially live. It's been launched, no pun intended. Appreciate your support as always, Jeffrey, and I appreciate everyone's support here on the program. Jimmy says Warren, Higgins, Trapillo, Collins, Bam, 4 starters. Here's the thing. Warren is a starter, yes. Higgins is a starter, yes. Trapillo is a starter, yes. Collins is a starter. Do you want to go tight end, wide receiver, back-to-back picks? That could be interesting. Again, I want to go, if you're going to draft a tight end, I don't want to draft a wide receiver or vice versa. If you're going to draft a tight end in the first round, I want to go defense in the second. Draft Mason Graham in the first round, Kenneth Grant in the first round. I want to go weapon in the next round. Really like Higgins, really like his ability to separate. In general, I like those players. I just don't know if I'd be completely open to going tight end, wide receiver, back-to-back. I don't know if I'd be open to doing that. Brandon says Warren at 7 is the kind of pick that gets you fired in 2 years, Chris. They would regret it sooner rather than later. Tyler Warren's a great football player. I have nothing bad to say about him overall as a player. Just, do you want to use the 7th overall pick on a tight end who spent 5 seasons in college, and his 5th season is the year where it really broke in and it snapped? You really want to do that? I don't know. But at the same time, I don't think the right tackle value is there. That's why I think getting your wide receiver 2 in Tetairoa McMillan is the best route to go. I will die on that hill. That is the best route to go. I got Thomas is in the building. Thomas, I appreciate you tuning in as always. Jojo says, still think the first 3 picks will be tight end, offensive tackle, defensive tackle. In that order, who are you taking as the offensive tackle in the second round? Ariante Ursary? I mean, the Jets did have a top 30 visit with him. I have nothing against Ursary. I like him as a player. Just like, I would be more excited with Tet, Tyleik Williams, and Ozzy Trapillo than I would be Tyler Warren, Ariante Ursary, and Jamari Caldwell. That's just me. I'd be more excited with the first group I listed. Ted McMillan, Tyreek Williams, Ozzie Trapillo. I'd be far more excited with that group than I would be with a Tyler Warren, Ariante Ursary, Jamari Caldwell. That's my opinion. Jimmy says Fannin isn't a blocker. He could still develop into a blocker, but he's 6'3", 230 pounds. He's known to be a pass-catching tight end. Greg in the building says, hey, Connor. Greg, appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate all your support here on the program as always. Let's see. Jimmy says, no, I don't need you to slam Bruce for an entire show. Just telling you guys, if you go back and watch some of these games, coaching gets blamed a lot. And they did play a role in Bruce's struggles, but his struggles last year went a lot deeper than coaching. I'll say that right now. Brian says, film breakdown on Tanner Engstrand. Do you mean scheme? Might be enlightening. Let me know. Clarify there, and I'll try to get that done. Appreciate you as always, Brian. Says, Joshua says, Bemba will be the pick at 7. Tight ends will be available in rounds 2 to 4. So will right tackles. There's solid tackles who are going to be available in one of the later rounds. I want to go wide receiver at pick 7. I want to go wide receiver 2 with Ted McMillan at pick 7. I'm going to say that route. Membu with the hype I don't get. This is someone who's a second-round pick entering the combine. He has a great combine, and now he's going to be a top 5 pick. I don't like that. That shows how little his draft stock is. It implies how little his actual production on the field plays a role in his draft stock. That's concerning for me, especially just for someone who, and myself, who does not put much focus into the combine. I look at how players are playing on a football field. That's how I evaluate a prospect. It's concerning to me how fast he skyrocketed up boards after the combine. That's concerning to me. Jeffrey says, I don't think you go with. I think you go with right tackle at 7, but I don't want Membu. He said that. Who's the right tackle then? Josh Connerly. I think you go weapon, and specifically wide receiver 2. That's the route I'm taking. Chris Herrera in the building. Tyler Warren wasn't even good enough to start with Theo Johnson. He was a 5th-year breakout player. Do you really want to invest the top 10 pick in that when you can get someone who I think is going to be a really, really solid wide receiver, come in and contribute right away? Personally, I wouldn't do that. Again, Ted's still my pick at number 7 for the Jets. I just think overall that is the best route the Jets should go. That's where I'm on the draft. Appreciate you tuning in. Smash the like, hit subscribe. Happy Friday to everyone. Just wanted to do a quick little 35 minutes on here. I know we're on every day talking Jets. Wanted to spruce it up with a little draft coverage. If you guys have any advice, any coverage you want to see on the channel, any topics, hey, throw them in the chat, throw them in the comments, and we'll try to get them done. So I appreciate it. As always, I'm not hosting, but there will be more coverage on this channel in a little less than an hour, baby. Next Gen Jets, Jack Cotter, Josh Wolliver on here at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So about 55 minutes until they hop on. I'll throw the link here. Please, please, please stay on this channel. Great way to support me. Great way to support Josh and Jack and Chris and the whole crew over at Next Gen Jets. So please, if you can, just threw the link in there. Josh and Jack will be on this channel, chopping it up, talking New York Jets. If you want more Jets coverage, you want to enjoy some fun football talk, please, I hope you guys can come on here and and support Jack and Josh in a little less than an hour. I mean a lot. Jeffrey wants Will Campbell. I think Campbell's a guard at the next level. His arms concern me. If I'm taking a tackle, it's going to be Membu. Brian says Fields breakdown from college to now. I could definitely get definitely get now. I could make that work. I just have to talk to my college film provider if I could go back that far to get his college film. But I should be able to make that work, Brian. Thank you so much. I appreciate it as always, and I appreciate all your advice here on the show. It really does go a long way. But please, guys, come on here. Click that link. Set a notification. Smash the like on that video. Jack and Josh on here at 9:30 p.m. So stay tuned for that. Some more Jets coverage on the channel tonight. Back tomorrow, 5 p.m. EST with Cole Thompson. And then 9:30 p.m. EST with Chris Grasso. So looking forward to that. I appreciate you guys tuning in here on the program. As always, that'll do it for me. I'm your host, Connor Long, signing off. JTS, Jets, Jets, Jets.